Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Grand Bazaar. We are transitioning now into fall. We've left summer behind and we're ready for all that fall is going to bring us. And it should be a pretty jam-packed month. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a lot of festivals in the fall. It is also my first wedding anniversary, and interestingly enough, in my case, I am working at a bit of a disadvantage because my anniversary cancels out our first bazaar day of the fall season, and the reason that it hasn't simply been moved to the Sunday is because they do not have birthdays and bazaar days ever overlapping in this game. If you've ever looked at the calendar, you may or may not have noticed that. So we are going to have to hang on and be patient here. A little bit of deja vu from our first year in the game, and we are going to be working on 3 bazaar days in fall instead of our regular 4, but that's okay. And the biggest and most exciting thing of all that we are going to be seeing in this month is actually going to be happening tomorrow, and that is going to be the birth of our child. Now, this is something I've not talked about and I've skipped, but I haven't forgotten it. It simply takes way too long in between all of the child-related events in this game, so I figured I would kind of just do one big video about it, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. I am going to get the farm ready. I'm going to spend all of my actual playtime playing this game properly on the first day, and I will get things completely ready to go. I'll plant everything that I need to plant, put fertilizer on, and make a plan on how I'm gonna lay things out on the farm. But to start things off with this child-heavy episode, I'm going to go back to the pregnancy announcement that we got with Freya, and that is going to bring us all the way back to the beginning of the year. So let's have a look at that first, and I will elaborate a little bit more. So here I am, just about to go to bed after a festival day. Am I sick? I feel horrible. And we have no doctor in this village, but Claire sort of acts as our village's midwife, if you will. What's wrong? It's not bad, is it? Calm down, it's nothing bad. In fact, it's great. She's pregnant. That's fantastic. Congratulations, you two. Thank you. This is so exciting. We're going to have a baby. A boy, a girl. It'll be cute either way. Call me when you're close to giving birth. I'll come right over. Nurse Claire to the rescue. Thank you so much. Well, I'll be on my way. Take good care of her. I will do that. Thank you. So in my case, I got this event on the first day of spring, and I most likely would have gotten it a little bit sooner, but because it was a holiday yesterday, the event will get pushed to the first non-holiday day when the time rolls around for that event to occur. After purchasing the big bed at the bazaar after you get married, it will take 30 days for that pregnancy event to take place. And that's why I was really kicking myself that I had kind of forgotten to purchase the bed earlier on in my marriage, and I was about a month late, because it does set the timeline back that much more. 30 days is not the end of the world to wait for that event. It's the waiting after that becomes very, very long and drawn out. You will also see dialogue after that event, and the dialogue will be in different stages. So early on, Freya is going to express a little bit of concern, which is probably pretty normal. The dialogue will change sort of in the middle of the pregnancy period, and then as you get closer to the birth of your child, your spouse will sort of remind you that the time is coming and to prepare for that. So that is a good indication of keeping track of a timeline if you're not totally sure. However, I can tell you that after this event, you will have to wait another 62 days in order for your child to be born, which I know is wildly specific. And luckily for us, you can look on the calendar ahead of time and it will show you exactly when your child's birthday is. It isn't a surprise. It's not like they spring it on you randomly. Your child will have a set birthday. So it's about 2 months worth of waiting around now for your spouse or yourself to be pregnant before you will be able to get the birth event. And aside from some dialogue, that is all that changes. And there is only dialogue between you and your spouse. It's not like you've told all of the town folk and they're all going to congratulate you and say that they heard the fantastic news or anything like that. So it is a bit of a pain to just wait around, but that's all there really is that you can do. And that's why I decided to save this event and include it in one video, because there's a lot of videos that I've done between now and fall, and I didn't want that to get lost. So let's go ahead and fast forward back to our present time, and we can have a look at the birth of our child, and I could talk a little bit more about that as well. And here I am now on our first day of fall. So I've played the day properly as I normally would. You can see outside here that I've gone ahead and I've done some planting, and I will do a proper update on all of this a little bit later. But for now, we are going to get ready to get into bed and to see the event of our child being born. And you can see now that Freya's dialogue has changed ever so slightly, talking about the baby coming soon. And she asks about the gender of the child, which is something that is completely within your control in this game. Now, there is a bit of a random element to it, but you do have the option of a boy or a girl. And the gender of the child is going to be set at the event. And that's very important to remember. And that's why it's good to keep an eye on the calendar to know when your child's birthday is going to be, so that you'll know and you'll be able to choose the gender of your child if you are very specific on what it is that you would like. So when I go to bed and I wake up, we're going to see the event. And if I'm not happy with the gender that I have, all I have to do is reload and try again. As long as you've saved before bed, you should be able to manipulate the gender. Claire is going to come running in to help us, along with Nellie, who I guess is also going to act as a bit of a helper here to make sure that everything goes smoothly, which is great. And we sort of just wait over here. Or it will be your husband if you're playing as a female farmer. You've got a healthy little baby. It's a girl! Congratulations! Now that is very lucky that for the purposes of this video, it happened to give me a girl, because I ended up with a girl myself. Our child! What would be a good name? Can you think of one? I sure can. I named my daughter Saria because she was my favorite Zelda character when I was a kid, and it is a name that I have used in the past. Just a good one that I like to lean on from time to time because I am terrible with names. So at this point, if you don't like the gender that you have, you can reset or reload and try again. Dad and I will do everything we can to raise you right. I have every confidence that Freya is going to be a wonderful mother. Now, nothing changes, as it so often doesn't in Harvest Moon games. She will leave the baby home all day, and she will go right back to work. Fresh after giving birth, she's just gonna get up and go to work today. And I guess it's up to me to just watch the baby as I work around the farm. It doesn't really matter though, because your baby is just going to sleep in the middle of that bed for an ungodly amount of time. And I generally try to be pretty optimistic when it comes to most elements of this game that I feel are a little bit lacking or that could be improved on. But I feel like there is no excuse for them to have dragged out how long it takes for your child to develop in this game. It's already taken 3 months of the game for you to have this child after you're married, assuming that you don't make the same mistake that I did and you get the big bed right away. After this point, your child is going to sit in this bed, not being able to be interacted with at all. You cannot pick your child up, you cannot play with them, there is no toys for them, there are no events, there is absolutely nothing for 136 calendar days. Think about how ludicrous that is, because that is over a year. Okay? I am having a difficult time off the top of my head thinking about how many other games go to that level to stretch things out that far. Especially in a game like this, where even if you were sort of flying around blindly and going into the bazaar and it was a bit of a learning process for you, I have a very difficult time believing that anybody would legitimately be struggling to get the 100% of the bazaar in, say, year 4 or year 5. This game does not have so much content that they can do that to you. And I'm just taking this moment to rant because I really feel like there are a lot of things I overlook, a lot of things I'm very patient and very positive about, but this aspect of the game really, really frustrates me. Now your child is going to appear in your assets menu. This is the final blank that we were missing on our information screen, of course, and we will be able to see their birthday, even though it's not something that we should forget, seeing as how it's also on our calendar. So we get to just stare at this baby and do nothing with it for over a year, at which point they become a toddler, and we will be able to give a toddler some gifts. They will get up and they will walk around. We can interact with the child at that point. They will have a little bit of dialogue, but there are no special events at that age, and you have to wait another year after that point until your child finally reaches their most grown up stage. And at that point, there are only 2 events that I could find that are considered random events that happen with your child. Needless to say, I will absolutely not be playing the game up to the point of getting your oldest child just to see a few measly events. There will be 2 random events. Your child will participate in the Halloween-like event that I'm completely missing the name of right now. The Pumpkin Festival, I think, at the end of this month. And they will be seen in your anniversary events and birthdays and whatnot, but that is it. So tragically, it was very exciting to get to know the Bachelorettes, and I was even very excited to get married to Freya. I quite like her, but it's the courting aspect of the game that is the most fun. Once you get married and once you're waiting for a child, the family aspect of this game was really just a secondary thought, really put into the game, I think mostly because it had to have it, right? That is one of the highlights of the Harvest Moon games. People always point it out if it's not included, but it really was an afterthought, and they didn't put very much thought process into this when they decided that they were going to make you wait such a long period of time. So my rant is over. That's all I have to say about that. And it is a little bit disappointing because some Harvest Moon games and a lot of other non-Harvest Moon farming sims now have made your children a little bit more relevant, your spouse a little bit more relevant, and unfortunately that is a little bit lacking in this game. So we're going to be able to stare at our blob child here for the next foreseeable little bit until it is that I stop playing. And it's really going to be just settling into a nice routine for the fall season. And I'm gonna have to play for over a week to reach our first bazaar before there's any real big excitement for the fall season. Now, I will probably do a bit of a farm update between now and that time because I do have so much time available to do that, and we'll have a look at if there's anything exciting going on for our wedding anniversary as well. So I will take a bit of time to talk about what I've planted here and what my plans are. I also want to fit in some cooking, and I think this would be a really great month to do that as well. And then just fitting anything else that I can think of that I may have missed in. So I'm very excited to start a new season, and it is an exciting way to start it just because that is one thing that I was waiting to cover in year 3. It's one step closer to being finished this project as a whole, but ultimately it is a bit of a letdown. However, I hope I've been able to provide you with all of the information that you might have needed for your children in this game, answered any of your questions, and provided you with the incredibly long timeline that they've given us. And hopefully from here on out, we can just have a nice, relaxing time as we try to finish up the rest of this month and the rest of this project. So thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.